Hello, I'm Emily Butterfield, Head of Computing for Noroff University College, and today I'm here to tell you about our Computing Bachelor programs. Data. It's huge. You think on a daily basis how much data you use, how many messages you send, how many videos you watch, how many emails you receive and send. Now duplicate that by the number of people around the world. And what you find is there is so much data we don't know what to do with it. Within the area of computing or digital devices, this data becomes important. It could be important from a sales and marketing point of view, how to use this data to maybe influence what we do as a business. But it's also important from, let's say, a criminal perspective. People who want to steal your data, to use your data, to take advantage of everything that you post online and everything that you use online to maybe steal some more information and get access to your bank accounts. All of this data means that there is a risk. There's lots of opportunities as well, but there are risks. Now today, as I talk you through our different computing programs, hopefully you will see how that data becomes important, it can be utilized, and actually it has good and maybe less so good points that we can use. Now, within Noroff University College, what we have are 4 key niche computing bachelor programs. These are cybersecurity, applied data science, digital forensics incident response, and digital security and assurance management. These 4 programs each offer different insights into the digital world. You can utilize, from the skills you learn on these programs, different techniques, different technologies that you can take forward into your future careers. Now, I can't cover too much today because I've only got a short amount of time. However, you will have questions and you will want to join us on these programs. Just go onto our website, find about the study plans, our study guidance, and also reach out to the team and we'll be able to answer any additional questions that you have. If you do have questions as I'm talking, just post them in the chat. I will get to these at the end of the session. My email address will be at the end, and if you want to reach out directly to me, feel free to as well. I'll hopefully be able to guide you in the right direction. And you'll see, hopefully, from when I talk today, that there is an area for you. Whether or not you are super technical, you are, let's say, a geek, or somebody who is more a people person, you'll see that each of the programs offers different opportunities no matter what background you come from and no matter what you want to be in the future. Now, data, as I've already said, is huge. There's a lot out there. It can be used for good and bad purposes. The demand for the skill set to protect the data, to analyze the data, to make sense of data, to find out who's done what and when, is huge. That's not just inside of a particular country or a particular region. This is global. An IT degree, a computing degree, gives you the opportunity to enter a global market. A global market that has a massive demand for your skill sets that you would develop as you study. Now this could be in the data science region, and we all know data science is huge and it's on the tip of everyone's tongue now, through to protecting data and analysing data. The market share is growing year on year. Therefore, the skills that you develop will mean that you will find a career path that could be anywhere in the world. That should be exciting. It will be exciting. You will find a job that is fit for you. Our applied data science degree. This degree, it's really about making sense of all that complex data. All that data that people are sharing and keeping, selling to companies, companies are taking and copying as well. All that data needs to be made sense of for it to become useful. Otherwise, it's just data stored somewhere. Within the data science degree, you will learn how to utilize all the data that is out there, how to make sense of it, how to make it so someone else can make sense of it, Someone else can then take what you've interpreted and get advantage from it. Now that could be, again, sales and marketing. It could be insights that nobody's ever thought of before. We see data science used in the medical discipline a lot to try and interpret cancer scans, to try and identify automatically if there is cancerous growths. We see it in sales and marketing when they're looking at what a customer's clicking on to then drive the customers in a particular direction. Now, one thing that we've all seen, both in the news, and I'm sure you've played with it as well, is AI. Now, artificial intelligence is a real drive now. Businesses want it, businesses are using it, students are using it. Data science is kind of the baseline to be able to get into that field. This will give you the experience and the skills and the understanding of how to interpret data and how to make sense of complex data sets. Data scientists, which is what you would become, are immensely valued by businesses, any industry alike, because they need to understand that data. Now, within the degree program, you will cover a variety of different areas, from programming through to core fundamental IT skills, all the way through to how to analyze and visualize and how to make sense of these complex data sets. How can you take something that looks like just a massive spreadsheet or a database? How can you then take that and make use of that? You'll understand the skills, you'll be able to implement those skills, and by the end of it, you'll be able to parse data and information that you never even thought was possible. What this does, though, is it opens up a wide job market. It means that you can enter into becoming a data scientist. You can enter any career path that includes IT, because you now have the skills and the understanding to be able to interpret information and make sense of information, that analytical skill set. You can go into further study. You can also look at becoming a data engineer. And if you start Googling and looking at information that's out there, you will see that the job market is just growing continuously. And the range of different job titles are also growing and expanding. So by the time you've watched this presentation, likely new job areas are opened up. The big buzz area alongside data science is cybersecurity. People think and people want to be involved in cybersecurity because of what they see in the movies, what they see on TV. It's a sexy area. People want to be able to hack into systems, break into systems. But cybersecurity is so much more than that. Cybersecurity focuses on defending data, protecting information. We have lots of information out there, lots of systems out there, and we need to be able to make sure that it's kept secure and the data that we as users put into there isn't available to anyone else. Through the cybersecurity region or realm, you will learn to defend systems. You will learn how to defend systems by trying to break into systems in the first place, identifying vulnerabilities. So you will learn to protect through an aggressive stance, as well as protect through a defensive stance, trying to stop people from breaking into those systems and taking that information. The degree program covers, again, the fundamental IT areas that all computing students should know. You'll also learn more in depth about networking, how computers and devices communicate and share information, being able to understand how this works, and then also how to identify what information is stored in there so you can try and, let's say, steal the information and make sense of it, to identify the vulnerabilities and holes that you, once you learn a little bit more, will be able to exploit to help businesses become more secure. You'll learn about defending systems, implementing mechanisms such as firewalls, looking at the security within a network from both an offensive and a defensive standpoint. There are many areas within cybersecurity. Whilst many people see it as an offensive mechanism, so what we would call red teaming, a way to break in and hack and be the, let's say, the bad guy. Cybersecurity actually focuses very much on protecting information, So you can enter a multitude of different roles, which includes security consultants, working in a security operations center, a network operations center, doing pen testing, doing the red teaming, the attacking. And there are many different areas inside of that. The cybersecurity area is huge. And again, when you look to see what opportunities are out there, you will see that it's ever expanding. And because of what you've learned, you are in a position to enter a lot of different IT areas. You don't even need to end up specializing in cybersecurity. Your skill set covers everything from networking to general fundamentals of computer science, which means that you are highly employable. You can also go off and do further study, do a master's, do a PhD. You'll be able to learn, you'll be able to apply, you'll be able to push the limits a little bit, and hopefully you will be one of the new cyber specialists that will take the next line of defense to prevent people from stealing information and taking information and exploiting information. As of August 24, we have a new exciting degree program, Digital Assurance and Security Management. This links very closely to both cybersecurity and digital forensics and incident response. This degree program moves away from, let's say, the technical, in-depth areas that you'll see in cyber and digital forensics, and focuses very much on the controls and mechanisms on how to keep data secure by putting the right legislation, process and procedures in place. This degree program is focused very much towards the managers, not the people that want to do the nitty-gritty, the low-level technical detail. This is very much towards, you want to be the ones that define what should be in place, what controls should be in place, how do we check that those controls are in place. The job market is set to explode in this area. There is new legislation, new directives that have come out that enforce that companies and countries have the right control mechanisms in place and the right people in place to ensure that data, again, is kept secure, but not at the low-level technical detail. These are the people that have the overarching control. Throughout the degree program, you will look at everything from a core fundamental IT concepts. So you have an understanding of general IT. You'll be able to program, you'll be able to script. You will then look at auditing and governance. You will look at what legislation is out there, what processes should be implemented, how can they be implemented by first analysing what a business offers. This skill set means that you are very much at the management level. You can go in, you can identify what risks are present within a business. You can identify what gaps exist currently in the processes and procedures that they have. Maybe they don't have any, which in itself is a possibility. You will be the one that starts to identify and plug those holes. You will work with a cybersecurity team who will then implement the technical concepts that you've identified. The roles, again, are wide. Now, because you haven't done as much IT fundamentals as in the other degree programs, your roles are focused more towards the management, the governance, the identification of risk, of how and what we can implement to keep systems and businesses secure. Obviously, further study after a bachelor's is optional as well. Our next degree program is again new for August 24. Digital Forensics and Incident Response. Again, works hand in hand with cybersecurity, digital assurance and security management. What this degree program does is it looks at, well, if there is an incident, if somebody breaks into a system, if someone tries to, let's say, hack into a system, and there are many different ways that people can break into systems, how do we identify, one, that they've done it? They could be sat there for a very long time before it's identified. How did they get in? What did they do? Whereabouts in the system did they go to? Through this process of analysis and interpretation of systems and events and logs and devices, we can look at anything from a server through to an individual computer, through to, let's say, mobile devices, and even IoT devices. And we will identify the process that people have done to get in. What was the point that caused whatever issue has occurred? The cybersecurity team will do their utmost to protect data, to ensure that people can't get into systems. But it's guaranteed that they will not be able to protect everything. There'll always be a vulnerability somewhere. The Digital Assurance Security Management team will try and put as many controls in place to try and prevent this again. The Digital Forensics Incident Response team will come in when all those fail. They will be there to provide the support and the guidance and identify for the other teams how they might be able to fix this later. Within the Digital Forensics Incident Response program, you will look at network concepts. How can data travel from A to B? How can we exploit that in a forensic sense to identify what has gone on? How have people shared information, stolen information? How has ransomware entered the network and propagated across the network? Analysing mobile devices and advanced devices and recovering data from what would be seen as completely damaged, destroyed devices, so that we can identify again who's done what, when they've done it, and how did they do it. Now, many people think that digital forensics incident response is focused on law enforcement and police only. This area is actually available to many people, to businesses, private businesses, to big accountancy audit firms. With digital forensics incident response, you can again enter many different IT areas. You have a solid IT understanding, but you can also enter law enforcement. You become a forensic analyst. You can become an incident responder. You can be the person that identifies who's done what they did, and then how to prevent them from getting in the future. Our degree programs have overlap, as I've tried to emphasize. They have opportunities where you will learn similar skill sets but applied in different ways. Cybersecurity will look at protecting data, implementing controls to prevent people breaking in. Digital forensics and incident response will look at what happens when they break into that. It's the same skill sets, just looked at it in different ways. But what is key for all of our degree programs is that they are applied. It's an opportunity for you to actually apply skill, not just read from a book. You will be hands-on wherever it's possible in applying new techniques and new technologies. Each of these degree programs has a massive job market, and this job market we see year on year is increasing. When I do a similar presentation again, you will see that the numbers have increased. The predictions for the demand for the roles and the positions that you will be filling when you've graduated from us will continue to increase every single year. Now, the first year is very much a fundamental year for each of the degree programs. It builds that IT foundational knowledge, the researching knowledge, the how to be a student knowledge. Then as we go into years 2 and 3, you will see increasing specialization towards your area of study. You will learn how to break into systems, how to defend systems, how to analyze systems, how to perform audits, how to interpret information and visualize information from big data sets. So it becomes even more exciting as you get into the second and then the third year. Now, hopefully you'll see that computing area is an area that has many different points of interest for you. I can pretty much guarantee if you have any interest in IT whatsoever, one of these degree programs is correct for you. So the question should be, well, why are you at Noroff University College? Why should you study with us? Well, we like to apply your knowledge. We don't just want you to be a reader. We don't just want you to do theoretical. We want you to be applied. So at the point that you finish, you can go off into the job market and have the career that you want. You can become a cyber specialist, a data scientist, a risk analyst, an auditor, or a forensic analyst, an incident responder. you will have the skill set to enter into those roles. You will continue to develop for many, many years. This is just your stepping stone towards a future path that is very bright and very exciting. The material that we develop, the information that we provide to you, we try and do with industry to ensure that you are in a position to have that future career. This isn't just get a study and that's it. This is about ensuring that what we're delivering and what we're developing is going to set you up the best possible for your future careers. So it's aligned with industry, and we keep building these connections with industry, and we see an increasing demand for students before they've even graduated. Because the job market is so open at the minute, people are desperate to fill roles. So you should have no issues in the future. So that when you graduate, you are able to apply the skills that you've developed throughout the years. And education isn't just about lectures and guidance, the things that we'll provide on a day-to-day basis for the courses. Education is about, are you seeing what industry do? We have guest lectures coming. Those guest lectures will provide information to you about examples they've worked on. They will reinforce the topics that we've taught you in the general courses with real-world examples so you can see that it is relevant, and you will increase that relevance, and that also gives you opportunities to network with industry. That networking means that you will have those connections upon the point of graduation. Makes it much easier to land those roles. We have capture the flag events, opportunities to practice your skills, breaking into systems, analysing data, interpreting information. We have them as little competitions where you can win prizes. Apply the skills that you've learned in the courses outside of the courses, working in teams and groups across the different years and across the study programs. They get exciting and quite challenging at points. But we'd like to use competitions and challenges to try and push you a little bit more. Engaging with them will see that you will develop skills above and beyond what you would develop just from studying alone. We have career days, so you can work with industry, you can network with industry. You can talk to them about your future aspirations and what opportunities they have. We try and open those doors as much as possible. And we try and make sure that we have activities which are led by students for students. This makes your whole process of education and study much more exciting. And you have opportunities within Noroff University College to study purely online as a distant remote student, to have the benefit of a campus study environment through our Online Plus, which is both in Bergen and Oslo, or you become more of a traditional university student and come to Campus Kristiansand, where lectures are delivered live and physically to you, and you'll have that physical interaction with staff. Now, I'm sure you have lots of questions, and I'm sure that you will have questions after I've finished. So this is an opportunity now for me to be able to answer them. And I will just see what we have available. So the question we have is, do we have examples of projects or assignments that students are given during their studies? Yes. It varies. So for example, all students do the final dissertation, the thesis at the end. That thesis at the end is a chance for you to specialise in a certain area. Some students analyse applications and data sets to try and find new insights from that information, either from a forensic standpoint, to find out the forensic artifacts that might be left over by an application, or from a security standpoint, to kind of identify what the vulnerabilities with that application. In the digital forensics incident response, we have a courtroom experience where we ask students to become expert witnesses to present information to analyse information first and then be cross-examined as if they were an actual expert witness. In the applied data science, students are given data sets, again, such as maybe MRI scans, brain tumour scans, cancer scans, and they will interpret that data set and apply machine learning techniques and models to identify patterns, similarities, and they will produce reports and documentation around that. Another question, how does a typical week look? How often are lectures? Now this is defined on a year-by-year basis, but a typical week at the minute would look at, for each course that you study, you will get a 2-hour lecture, which might be broken up in a week, and also a 2 to 3 hour guidance session where you are given tasks to complete and your lecturer is there to support you and will give some additional guidance and hints and tips as to the direction to go in. Then there's self-study on top of that. So we'll have some directed study, maybe some reading, some materials, some assignments to work on, maybe some quizzes or self-test things that you can do, as well as then obviously larger material that you can play with and your own time to push and look into different areas. That week is dependent on the course and depending on how many courses you're currently studying, but typically it's 3 courses a week, there and thereabouts, which means you'll have 3 days of those kind of sessions. But again, the timetable is defined each year, so there is some variability. There's a question about, are there any opportunities for internships? We don't necessarily have formalised internships at this moment. We are working with current companies to have that formalised internship, which will allow you to go and work. But we do have students who will go and work both part-time during their studies to develop skills with local industries in particular in their different specialised areas. Again, it depends on the programme. There are opportunities, and the best thing is to discuss them with us when you're here, and we will identify those opportunities with you and work with you to get the right place. Okay, so I think that's the end of the questions. If you have any questions, please reach out. Reach out to myself, reach out through the website for study guidance, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you may have that you haven't had a chance to ask today. To reiterate, computing is an exciting field. You have so many different opportunities you can go into. You will find something you want to do. Your career path is bright once you study in these niche areas. Thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you in August 24.